It all began the moment my boss slid a thin file across the table, looked me straight in the eyes, and turned my entire career into a cruel challenge that felt more like a joke than a job opportunity. The air in her office was cold, almost rehearsed, as if she had already decided how the story of my humiliation would unfold. I had no idea that within days, I would be standing in front of her sister, being pulled into a situation that would change my life in ways I could never have imagined, and that the words she never directly said would still echo louder than anything spoken aloud. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that heal the heart, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Kindness Corner, so more people can feel what this story carries. I was not someone important in the company. I was just another employee trying to survive deadlines, rent, and the quiet loneliness that comes from being overlooked every single day. My boss was powerful, sharp, and unpredictable. She was the kind of person who didn't raise her voice because she never needed to. People listened even when she spoke softly, because every soft word from her carried consequences. That day, she told me I would go on a date with her sister. Not as a suggestion, not as a favor, but as a dare. The condition behind it was unspoken but clear enough for me to understand. If I refused, my job would disappear. If I agreed, I would step into something I didn't understand. I thought it was humiliation disguised as entertainment for her. I thought I was being used to amuse a person who had power and time and boredom in dangerous combinations. But I had no strength to refuse. I agreed, not because I wanted to, but because survival sometimes sounds like obedience. Her sister was nothing like what I expected. I imagined arrogance or indifference, someone who would mirror her sister's control in a softer form. Instead, I met someone quiet, observant, and strangely gentle in the way she looked at the world. She didn't treat the situation like a joke. She treated it like something she had already accepted long before I arrived. There was a sadness in her eyes, not dramatic or obvious, but like a story she had stopped telling because no one had ever stayed long enough to listen. The first meeting felt unreal. I was sitting across from someone I had been forced to meet, but she made no attempt to make me feel small. Instead, she listened in a way that made silence feel safe. I spoke carefully, trying not to reveal too much, but she seemed to understand more from what I didn't say than from what I did. It was unsettling at first, but not uncomfortable. It felt like being seen after years of being invisible. Days passed, and what was supposed to be a single date became something repeated, not because of obligation, but because something unspoken kept pulling me back. I told myself I was only following the situation my boss created, but deep down I knew it was no longer just that. There was something about her presence that made the noise of my life feel quieter. She never asked for attention, yet somehow she held mine completely. At work, things grew more tense. My boss watched everything with a strange kind of satisfaction, as if she was testing a theory only she understood. She never directly interfered, but her presence felt like pressure in the background of everything I did. I began to realize that I was not just being observed. I was being evaluated. The turning point came one evening when I noticed something unusual. Her sister never spoke about her life in a way that felt complete. There were gaps in her stories, moments she skipped over quickly,